Hello, welcome back to another Ruffa Sports Cards video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the keys to success in 2025 for collecting sports cards, cards in general, and for the hobby in the future here. So, if you don't know, I am a sports card YouTuber, whatnot seller. I sell low-end sports cards, mainly NFL. I'm getting more and more into Pokemon now, and I do other sports too and all that, and baseball and basketball here and there, but mainly on whatnot. I sell the NFL cards as of now, and I do low-end in particular. I built this entire thing off of my own personal collection, so over time I collected cards, sports cards, primarily NFL, some baseball and basketball as well, and over 3 years time I collected a whole bunch of stuff and invested $5,000 into what you see here today, and what I buy and sell and trade all of my own stuff with, and my personal collections, my yada yada yada. I have all done with only a certain allotted money, and haven't reinvested any money except for the collection and that $5,000, and I built what you see today. So and that's all the numbers that I'm going over and all that too. That includes that. So pretty nice when you consider those factors and those key factors. So first things first is, I would say you should consider and find your passion. Identify your wants, identify your needs, and identify your desires. So this means, and it's a simple thing to do. Everyone knows their wants, their needs, and their desires, and you need to identify your passion with those things, or identify your passion. You might already know it. So for me, it was to be a whatnot seller, and it was to sell on whatnot, be a YouTuber. I've always wanted to be, making YouTube videos and hopefully get a channel monetized and all that. So I identified some things that I personally wanted, I personally desired, and I found my passion, which was streaming on whatnot, selling low-end NFL cards. And yeah, so for you, it could be a little bit different than what I have done and what I'm doing, and that's okay. That's what everyone should end up doing for themselves. So for me, my personal wants were to create a sports card business, a sports card brand, or card brand in general, and that was number one priority for me. It was something that I wanted to do ever since I was a kid, and well, technically just cards in general. And someone introduced me, a good friend from high school introduced me to sports cards right before the big boom, or right before the spike of the big boom, I should say. And I collected some sports cards and haven't looked back since. I've been selling and buying sports cards since then, and this is one box that's pretty much on my PC. So you see that. This is also all stuff that I've collected with that allotted money in that collection. The collection I've been selling, I still have some stuff from my own personal collection still to this day. But my wants were to be able to do YouTube, to sell and whatnot, to do this and grow this, for the time being, to be a side hustle, a side income, and then in the future potentially to turn this full-time. Technically, as of now, it is full-time because I was building it out and wanted to take the proper time and the proper focus and time, focus on it properly and grow it out while I had the opportunity to do so. And now I'm looking for a job to make as my main income. So I wanted to do that because I currently have some student loan debt, and that's okay. But if I am obviously going to want to do this long term, I'm not going to be able to just solely do what I'm doing now. I'm gonna have to go and get a job, and that was my plan. Is I just wanted to build this out first. I identified my wants, my needs, and my desires. I didn't want to have to end up going on camera on a whatnot and sitting there for 10 hours a day to try to sell, let's just say, let me look through here and see if I can find a card. I didn't want to sell this Cole Komet and put it on a stand and be like, I'm selling this card for 30 bucks and just focus on that, and, you know, obviously some other cards. It wasn't my own personal need or my personal desire. It was something that I ended up, you know, going and straying away. I started every single card, started doing auctions, starting every single card at $1, and primarily doing sudden death auctions. So whatever it goes for, it goes for. There's no time added and all of that. And yeah, so I've kind of adopted that to be my own business model. Now, is it going to be everyone's personal wants or needs? And it's not going to fit everybody's own personal passion, but that is my passion. There's a whole bunch of ways you can personally do it. You can do whatnot direct sales. Like I said, you could get some cards, and I know people that are doing really, really successful in doing that. I know 2 people, you know, pretty close to me in the hobby, and they have seen a lot of success. They share with me they post about their numbers or share with me with their numbers, and they see, you know, bigger, higher returns on their per card than I do, or like higher sales per card than I do. And that's because they don't just run everything, and they don't, you know, they didn't go the route I'm going, and they're seeing more and more sales and more dollars of sales because they're not doing the once a week stream and all that. And, you know, they have proper means of sourcing and all that. But for me personally, it's already so difficult to source just for that and source for the card shows that I set up at, the very few amount of card shows I set up at, that adding that extra avenue of selling right now just isn't going to be for me in the long term. Now, obviously, I might do it every now and then. I might do it at the end of my streams every so often, certain things like that. But for me right now, that doesn't fit my wants, my needs, and my desires. So I am not going to focus on that route. You can focus on off-season buys. So someone to consider, for me personally, I want to buy is Xavier Legette. Kind of miss out on a card of his, but that I probably should have bought. But hopefully one pops up that, you know, better deal and all that, and better card. Hopefully, we'll see. But off-season buys. So right now, prime example, NFL, especially because this is mainly an NFL channel. Off-season buys are prominent and the best thing right now for the NFL. Baseball, it's a little iffy, questionable potentially, but usually you want to be buying pretty much during right now for NFL season, the timing of the NFL season right now, pretty much where people are starting to get eliminated. The playoffs are locking in, yada, 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 right? It's pretty much your prime time for buying, and or directly after they've gotten eliminated from the playoffs. Certain aspects could be, you know, different, but that's a method of selling and buying sports cards. Prospecting could be another one. So like I said, I like Xavier Legette. It's technically a form of prospecting, is if you were to buy his cards and then to hold them, yada, yada, yada. And then figure out if you like auctions. Maybe you like auctions. Maybe you just like to grab a Michael Mayer, Trey Tucker, Michael Mayer, and you like to do auctions. You like to put it on a stand, try to sell it for $1, try to sell this one for $1, try to sell that one for $1, and being okay with just doing that for, you know, obviously you need a package and all that, but for as long as you can. Obviously I do the same thing once a week for about 3 hours out of the time. I do mine a little bit differently, but find your specialty. So again, maybe you are free, maybe you just got laid off or in between jobs or something of the sort, and you have a large collection, and now you're just curious on what to do. Well, I would say, for me, potentially just do, 5-second sudden death and just completely run a whole bunch of cards, right? And see how you like it. And test things out. Could always be something that you like. You easily probably have better means of sourcing cards than I do. It's very difficult for me to actually source cards. Man, that card would have been worth quite a little bit before the season. Hopefully he does something again. But again, I think, and this might be, something you might have clicked on the video before, was just the success in the hobby in general. I think building those personal collections for people and as a seller is going to be key for the success of the sports card hobby in general, for the success of the hobby in general. Again, all these I've put and stashed away in a box. It's an ETB box for Pokemon, but this was an entire box. I just have PC stuff that I was stashing away that I'm, pretty much okay with keeping. Entire box. Here's a set that I know I'm pretty much notorious for in some people's eyes, is Mosaic Football. So I collect the serial numbered Mosaic Football stuff, some random stuff here and there too. I already made a video on some of this stuff in here, but I mean, I have more too, I think. But so collecting that, finding your set you want to collect, finding your things you want to collect, and actually collecting them can very well mean the difference of a successful hobby, especially when you consider that this is something that I personally like, is the Mosaic Football set. So I'm never really, taking a loss on these things because I'm just collecting them, and I'm okay with just collecting them. If I can't get, a number that at the end of my, like and wish and desire to collect these things, then I'm just gonna keep them. I like them. Maybe one day I might, not value them as much and then sell them off, or might end up not liking the Mosaic set, some odd thing. But that is my own personal want. My need is to do something for myself while I'm selling cards. My desire is to then build a personal collection of, people I showed you, some Mosaic Football set, and, some other things like long-term. This is going to be, something I do for as long as possible. I think a key to your success would be do what you love. Do what you find that you would like and that you wouldn't mind just keeping. I'm okay with keeping, Raider stuff until I find somebody that would, like those cards, yada, yada, yada. I'm okay with collecting Mosaic Football stuff until I find someone that's going to like those cards. I'm okay with keeping, a Joe Rogan card that's a second year, until I find somebody that's going to like that card, or until I think is a proper time to then move off of that card. Certain aspects, like doing maybe little challenges for yourself throughout your own collecting and journey and all that, could be something fun. Like I filled up an entire 2-row box left of me of just QB stuff, and could be something that I am looking to offload, or if anything, I just end up keeping it. And then hopefully, one person ends up winning a Super Bowl, maybe a Super Bowl MVP, becoming a Hall of Famer in there. Could be something or the sort, right? But doing little, like, obviously it's a little difficult, like I'm just grabbing out one card, because every single dollar that you spend towards, a collection of your own is a dollar that you then cannot reinvest and, further have gains on that dollar and all that. So it's something that even I personally have a hard time wrapping my head around, but I do go out and splurge every now and then on Mosaic Football set. I do go out and, I'll pick out, or if I end up having it in the lot, I'll stash it away, because for me personally, I'm okay with, like, especially when I'm buying 4,000 card deals and I find, let's just say a Kevin Herter or a Sabonis or someone I believe in and had on my fantasy basketball team. He's another one, but like Michael Mayer patches is a good example. Like, I bought these ones in lots with a whole bunch of other patches and a whole bunch of other cards. Well, I'm okay with keeping these because I'll end up building out my own personal collection. Maybe one day I'm able to do a stream of just Raider stuff because I've been collecting it for so long and all that. Maybe I have an idea about what to do with some of this stuff and to offload some of this stuff in the future, and to help with some of my other endeavors and all that. But again, my wants, my needs, and my desire were to have this be something on the side for my main source of income. My needs were not to take up 10 hours every single day of my life, because I didn't have the bankroll and the capacity to do so for a long time. My desire was to stream on Whatnot. My passion was to be a YouTuber or a live streamer. That was what my passion was when I was younger, in high school, to be a live streamer. So I found the best of all those worlds. It was $1 auctions on Whatnot, and then obviously doing YouTube. And I think if you personally enjoy what you're doing, and you personally are, having a good time, and personally not, getting yourself into debt and getting yourself into something that's so unclimbable that you just can never, can never fathom, you can never fathom retiring or something like that. That's not something I would say is successful. There's just, there's very few things that could be considered not successful. That'd be one I do consider not successful in your hobby and your card journey, would be to, rack up $1 million of debt and loans, and then start to, have more interest payments than you're probably ever going to be able to pay off. Would be one thing I would say would be a demise and a failure for collectors, if anyone ever did actually get into that situation. But there's very, very, very few things that could be considered a failure, I would say, as long as you are liking it, and as long as you, take your own baby steps, or your own small achievements or gains and goals, and yada, yada, yada. You will be successful in your endeavors as a card hobbyist. So I appreciate you guys for watching. That's all I got for now, and I'll see you in the next one, hopefully. Take it easy. Have a good one.